In this video, you will learn how to build as a jungler in Smite 2. There have been a ton of changes to itemization in this game, and in this video we're going to go over the new scaling system, new items, and how to build each jungler that is currently in the game. Let's get started by quickly talking about the changes to damage scaling. In Smite 2, there is no more separation between physical items and magical items. All items are now available to every god. This is very different from how things worked before. The new system can seem complex at first, but here's the simplest way I can explain it. All gods deal either physical or magical damage. You can increase the damage you deal by building strength or intelligence. Basic attacks scale mostly off strength, but the damage your spells do is determined by the god's scaling type. Gods now fit into one of three categories: pure strength, pure int, or hybrid. So while some gods scale purely off only one stat, others can actually benefit from building both. You can see what each god scales off of in their ability descriptions. For example, Soul can now build strength to increase the damage of her autos, but her spells scale mostly with intelligence, so that's what you should build if you want more ability damage. No matter what Soul builds, her basic attacks and abilities deal magical damage. This new system adds an extra layer of flexibility to itemization and allows players to tailor their builds to best fit their playstyle. If this is all still confusing, feel free to ask any questions in the comments. I'd be happy to help you understand. Next, let's talk about what items you'll want to be picking up in the jungle. First, let's look at some of the brand new jungler items. Tekokagi is a cooldown item that is extremely strong. The passive grants you cooldown rate and movement speed for each of your spells that are on cooldown. This is probably one of the best jungle items that we've ever seen in Smite, and I highly recommend you build this on every assassin. Oathsworn Spear is another brand new item with a super good passive. Enemy gods hit by your abilities lose physical protections equal to your level for 4 seconds. This means that at level 20 you are shredding 20 prots off your target. 20 pen on one item is absolutely unmatched at the moment, especially considering flat pen is currently exclusive to stacking items. And this can let your teammates hit harder as well, which makes this item pretty broken. Pendulum Blade is another cooldown item with an active ability that reduces your active CDs by 3 seconds. This is a very strong ability and it's only on a 50-second cooldown, which means you can use it in almost every fight. The Reaper is a pretty unique item. It grants you power and lifesteal when hitting a low HP target. As you gain kills with this item, you gain up to 3 stacks, which increase the HP threshold and make the passive stronger. This is a really fine item when you have a lead, and it can help you to continue snowballing. Dagger of Frenzy is an attack speed item with an active ability that grants you basic attack damage and attack speed for 6 seconds. While we don't yet have many options for auto attack junglers, I still wanted to mention it because it seems strong, especially if you go it early. Now let's talk about some items that are returning from Smite 1. Hydra's Lament. This item is a must-buy in my opinion. 50 strength for only 2300 gold is absolutely insane, and it has a strong passive. If you get an early lead and want to snowball hard, you could even rush this first and just come out the gate swinging. Transcendence. I recommend going Transcendence first on every assassin right now because it just gives so much strength and effectively infinite mana. When fully stacked, it also grants 10 flat pen, which is very valuable and currently exclusive to stacking items in Smite 2. Devourer's Gauntlet. Devos is another stacking item, which grants strength and lifesteal. In Smite 2, lifesteal applies to all attacks, including your spells, so you can consider picking this item up in the jungle now, especially because it grants flat pen once evolved. Jotun's Wrath is a strength and cooldown item that now reduces your cooldowns after getting a kill or assist. Brawler's Ruin. This item has 60 strength and only costs 2400 gold. It also makes your attacks apply anti-heal, so this is a really strong option if the enemy has like an Anubis or something, or is building a bunch of lifesteal. Crusher. This item has power, pen, and cooldown, which is already good, but it also gives all of your damaging spells an additional proc that scales off your strength. In my opinion, this is a must-have for full strength builds. Heartseeker. This is another proc item which scales off of the enemy's max HP. Heartseeker gives probably the most damage out of any individual item. Titan's Bane is just strength and pen, pretty simple. 25% pen is a lot though, so it's definitely a good choice. Serrated Edge is a lifesteal item that also gives strength and pen. And finally, Bloodforge. Bloodforge is a lifesteal item that also has an active ability which grants you a health shield, and the cooldown of this ability is reduced when you slay an enemy god. This list didn't go over every single item, but I tried to cover all the strength items that I see commonly being built in the jungle. It's time to go over some example builds. First, let's have a look at the most traditional junglers. Smite 2 currently has 4 assassins, and all of these gods scale purely off strength. The first build is what I believe is the best jungle build right now. It packs a ton of penetration and damage without sacrificing too much CDR. The second build is just a variation of the first, but goes all in on cooldown. This one is great if you like spamming abilities or just want to have your ult up as much as possible. Both of these builds will work great on any of the assassins currently in the game. But what about the junglers that aren't assassins? Mordred is the new god and can be played pretty effectively in the jungle. He is a hybrid scaler, so you're going to want strength and some intelligence. For this reason, I like to go both Transcendence and Book of Thoth on him. This will give you a ton of power and flat pen. Later in the build, you should also go Soul Reaver. This will synergize well with the other proc items and allow you to hit insanely hard. Bellona can also be played in the jungle. We don't have any of the traditional auto attack based assassins in the game, but Bellona is actually great in this role. She has good clear and solid gank potential. Her 1v1 in the early game is unmatched with Dagger of Frenzy, and late game she will shred through anyone. And lastly, we have the Morrigan. I'm personally not a super big fan of playing her in the jungle, especially since right now both of the jungle starters only grant strength, but Hi-Rez lists her as a jungler for Smite 2, so here's what you should build if you want to play her. And that's it. Remember that Smite 2 is in closed alpha, and builds are very likely to change as players figure out the meta and the devs continue to balance the game. Please like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and let me know in the comments what guide I should make next. Thanks for watching. See ya!